On a stormy night, lightning split the black sky as dozens of wealthy men and women poured into an ancient, shadowy mansion. They had come to attend a grand masquerade party, hiding behind ornate masks that concealed their true faces and filled the night with an unsettling air of mystery and dread. The grand halls flickered with candlelight, and elegant masks hung from the walls like silent watchers, gazing down at the guests who laughed, danced, and whispered under the haunting music. Yet within those shadows, evil waited patiently for its moment. Suddenly, far from prying eyes, the first victim fell, blood blossoming across their chest. The music cut off, and masked faces froze in horror. It wasn't long before a second body was discovered in a dark corridor, then a third on the cold stone staircase, a fourth sprawled across the ballroom floor, and a fifth behind a heavy curtain. The marble floors ran red with blood, and what had once been graceful masks now felt like trembling, fearful disguises. Terror seized every heart. Some guests tried to break through the locked doors, while others hid behind pillars and velvet drapes. But death was closer than they could ever imagine. Hours later, after screams and chaos echoed through the mansion, the police finally arrived. They stepped carefully among the lifeless bodies and scattered masks, questioning the survivors whose eyes were wide with shock. After a long, chilling investigation, the terrible truth emerged. The killer was a woman who hid behind a delicate, innocent mask. She had slipped unnoticed among the guests, whispering softly and smiling gently, until she struck suddenly with a sharp blade, stealing jewelry and money from her victims and hiding the spoils within the folds of her elegant gown. In court, she stood with tears in her eyes and confessed her crimes, her voice filled with regret and sorrow. She spoke of the bitterness in her heart toward the wealthy who had mocked her poverty, and how hatred had driven her to do the unforgivable. The judge sentenced her to life in prison, condemned to spend her remaining years behind iron bars. Years passed in lonely darkness. Consumed by guilt and sickness, she grew weaker and weaker until at last, death claimed her quietly in her cold prison cell, leaving only regret in her final breath. Since that night, the mansion remains abandoned. Locals whisper that even now, the cries of the victims and the haunted whispers of the sorrowful killer still echo through its cold, empty halls.